We are back, and, when you buy a house and you want to make sure things are going good or things are going to be inspected properly or the house is going to stand for any length of time after you move in or the water's running or the sewer's running or whatever it may be, there's a lot that goes into a house. But there are actually some hidden factors you don't know about. I would bet you don't know about. That Scot Appert does. Scot Appert is with BioHealthy Homes, who's inspected and provided consulting services for hundreds of homes, commercial spaces, and building projects all the way across America, and is also a certified applied microbial remediation technician, which just means you know what to do with mold.
Exactly.
How you doing, Ben? Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Nice to see you again.
Well, thanks. Good to see you too.
You enjoying summer?
Yeah. I was in Europe for a part of it, and
That's right. You got back from Europe. Yeah. Fancy you, man. Fancy you. So, a lot of people, they go in, they buy a house, they think it's got everything that's going for it, right? They got foundations in good shape, The roof's in good shape. But you actually work with a lot of things that maybe, most people don't think about.
Yeah, most inspectors, especially if they're going in for, to buy a house, don't look for the things that I look for. And some of the hidden factors, what we're going to talk about today is electromagnetics. And they come from the wiring system of your house and also from the wireless that's surrounding your house by the cell phone towers and other factors. Radio towers, like Queen Anne's a really good example of lots of cell phone towers and radio towers. So I can come in with meters and figure out what is going on in the house specifically.
So we're talking electromagnetics.
Yes.
And this is like the electrical stuff that's going through your body at all times.
Well, yeah, it's all frequency based. So it ranges from extremely low frequency at 60 hertz, which is your house wiring system. Your body has extremely low frequencies. Your heart and your brain run at about 8 to 10 hertz, all the way up to microwave radiation and cell phone towers and things like that, up to 6 gigahertz. And higher, but, that's kind of the range that we look at for what's conventionally the wiring system or the things that we put in our homes or the cell phone towers, those kind of things.
So we're really talking about some pretty massive amounts of electricity. When you're talking
frequency,
60...
Yeah, it's frequency. So it's all frequency based. It's the higher the frequency, the shorter they are. Like a low frequency wave is about a mile long, and extremely high frequency wave could be like a hair width long.
And that's the up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
The high frequency.
And that's the cell phones and the. Yep. Why are they higher frequency than the other ones? Help me understand frequency.
Well, it's just along the spectrum. So, X-rays are farther up. They're called, the ionizing radiation actually can knock an ion off your cell. And that's why they're damaging. And it's just the whole spectrum. So they just go from very short, very low to very high. And just radio is in the middle.
Got it. So where do they all come from? I mean, where's this electricity coming from? You talked about microwaves and...
Well, we're generating them. We're generating them for communication. We're generating them for electricity. So everything is like electricity in your house is called alternating current, so it goes back and forth. But it's just a frequency that the current runs on that powers our houses.
So you'd say when we were building it, you're talking, this is man-made stuff. If you go out to the country where there's like nothing, like middle of Montana.
Well, you're right. There are natural occurring frequencies. There are the magnetic field from the Earth, which our body is used to, from thousands of years. We're acclimated to it. And then all the way from the ionizing radiation from outer space. So, if you're flying, you're actually getting, I think, the equivalent, and this is not completely accurate, about the equivalent of 10 X-rays when you're flying, from here to New York, something like that.
Wow.
Just from natural radiation in the terrestrial radiation.
Right through the old fuselage. Huh?
Yes, yeah.
And you're not even wearing the lead thing that covers you up.
Man,
Exactly.
I know. Now when I see somebody who's wearing a lead thing on the...
I don't think anybody's
like at the dentist chair. Well, they probably wouldn't let you through security. Why are these a problem? Why is all the electricity and the currents and I mean, because it's pretty much everywhere at this point in time.
It is.
You're not escaping it unless maybe you are out, at least the man-made stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you're way out in Montana or.
Well, what happens is then our body will start to get overrun with it. I mean, that's a simple way of thinking about it. So our body does communicate electrically. So, our heart, our brain, our whole body is an electrical system. So it runs at about 80 millivolts, which is very small. And so when you have the electrical system in your house, which is, fairly a normal house would not really affect us too much. But when you have anomalies that are higher, like high magnetic fields, which can lead to cancer, anything over 3 milligauss has been shown to possibly cause childhood leukemia or other cancers. So it's when you have the anomalies that, if you walk into a house, you're not going to know that those anomalies are there. It's only through using meters and testing. Older homes tend to have more of a problem because they used older wiring. A lot of times older homes will then be remodeled and use newer wiring with older wiring. And a lot of times when they tie the things together, those can cause anomalies, problems. And so it's the problem comes when, especially with the wireless and we're having so many different things in our home that we just keep adding. We just keep adding layer upon layer. So we have cell phone towers outside. We have Wi-Fi inside. We have wireless radios, like Sonos or other type of wireless music systems. And we have Xboxes and Wii's. And, we just, instead of one thing, we're just layering upon layer. So you're just adding.
So your body's just in this like constant defense mode of electricity hitting it.
Yeah. And then, and that can cause sleep issues. It can cause brain fog and other symptoms.
So what is this? I mean, I would imagine. I know there's the old adage. I don't know if it's an adage. There's old advice. You shouldn't live under power lines. Is this kind of that same thing?
For sure. Yeah, power lines can.
If above your house is buzzing with electricity,
that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally, they're going to create high magnetic fields, which can be very dangerous. Yeah, so definitely. But the problem is, unless you're hearing that buzzing, you really don't have I have a client that we're helping, and they've had it's an older home, and they've had high magnetic fields in their house, and but it's a nice home. You'd never know it, and there's been some health issues in the home, and so I was called in to try to figure out what's going on, and so we're actually rewiring part of the house because part of the house was older wiring, and it just created these. I mean, we're talking about 30 to 50 milligauss, which is like 30 to 50 times what we would ideally have there.
What did they have? I mean, what would somebody have that maybe they can't see it, but what would maybe not the symptom or what would be what would if somebody know that's in their house and maybe produce?
Well, older homes like this is 1940s home where they still have knob and tube. And never had an upgrade. So knob and tube can lead to, especially, it's very old. So this is 70, 80 years old. And aluminum wiring in the 40s and 50s also can lead to problems. So especially older homes or homes that have had multiple remodels that, they're
kind of add-ons. All of a sudden, just here, let's throw some more electricity through. Some more electricity
and
through.
Especially, you never know. How many homeowners have done their own wiring, and they just tie into whatever circuit they can find, and they just don't do things properly. And at that point, then the problem's going to rise.
We're here with Scot Appert of BioHealthy Homes, talking about some of the hidden killers that are in your house, electromagnetics, and so they're big problems. I mean, we're talking cancer, we're talking leukemia. I mean, these are big things that the electricity that is essentially attacking your body at all times.
Yeah, it's overwhelming your body because your body, so it interferes with your cellular communication. So your cells want to...
no, you're not talking about your phone.
No.
Cells in your
I hate
body.
when I drop calls, Scott.
Yeah, well...
So, I mean, it's your body. I mean, this is like your body's way of talking to it. So.
Yeah, it can lead to just cellular misfunction in the communication. So your body, it doesn't know when to, because your body communicates at all the time, thousands and millions of times, a minute. Each cell is communicating with each other about what they need to do next. What the DNA is pumping out light all the time, and it's what does that cell need to do next? So what does it need to produce? And if there's interference in there, then the cells won't function properly, and then that leads to some health issues or sleep issues or ringing in the ear. I mean, there's lots of different symptoms, but everybody kind of reacts differently to it. Some people won't react. A lot of times it's one partner that will react to things, and the other partner is strong and doesn't react to that, but they could react to something else. An allergy to food or something. So everybody kind of reacts to things differently.
So you have all these potential issues and health issues and things that you can't necessarily see. What are some of the solutions that you help people find?
Well, solutions are for the house wiring system. There's generally it's turning things off. It's potentially just a lot of times it's like one circuit or two circuits and not the whole house that's a problem. So it's identifying what the actual problem is and then just going and mitigating those specific issues. It's always better to find out. You start with the simple solutions and then move towards the complicated. And with other things like being inundated with wireless, say you can see a wireless communication tower from your house. Well, there's ways to mitigate that. Like there is shielding materials, there's shielding paints, there's things we can do to protect, like certainly bedrooms and things like that, because you don't want a high level of wireless, say from a cell tower, coming into your home, especially when you're asleep.
So really, it becomes this. I mean, you're not going to necessarily nip it in the bud. The cell towers are probably here to stay.
Oh yeah, but it's just trying to create
and electricity in your home.
Oh yeah, it's just trying to
keep that.
Create a safe place for you to sleep and hang out with your family or for your children. I mean, that's the most important thing, is just creating a safe haven for your family to hang out in.
Yeah, well, Scott, certainly good information, and it kind of brings a whole nother way of thinking about unplugging when you go out on vacation, doesn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, well, Scott, thanks so much for joining us again. Scott Appert, BioHealthy Homes, to help you really understand some of the things that might be hidden killers in your home. Electricity. Hey, when we come back for the first time, David Dolagite's going to join us, Director of Real Estate and Sustainable Communities with Capitol Hill Housing. Hey, they're probably still cleaning up Capitol Hill from the big party they had over the weekend. We'll be right back after this break. You're listening to Brashenomics.